When Saul became king of Israel, the people had to go to the Philistines to buy the modern iron farm tools. And when those tools became dull, they had to go back to the Philistines to have them sharpened because they themselves were not allowed to have blacksmiths. The Philistines sold them farm tools, but refused to sell them the modern weapons of war. So the only two people in Israel who had a modern sword or spear was King Saul himself and his son Jonathan. When Saul became king, he organized an army of 3,000 fighting men. He himself oversaw 2,000, and he gave 1,000 to his son. Well, Jonathan took his 1,000 men and attacked a Philistine garrison. Saul knew that this was an act of war. He quickly tried to organize his army. Well, the Philistines responded with force. They came into the land with over 3,000 chariots. They had 6,000 horsemen and a massive amount of troops. Well, when the people of Israel saw this massive army coming in their land, the men of Saul's army started to run in fear. They hid wherever they could, in the mountains and rocks and down in the wells. Some even left the country. Some actually joined the Philistine army. Samuel told Saul that he was not to go into battle until together they had sacrificed to the Lord. He told the king to meet him at a certain place, and there they would sacrifice. Saul went there, but Samuel wasn't there. He waited a day, 2 days, 3, and Samuel didn't come. He waited 4 days, 5, 6 days, and his men continued to leave his army and go into hiding. His forces were decreasing, and he felt desperate. Finally, when Samuel didn't come on the 7th day, the king went and got the instruments that were needed for sacrifice, and he sacrificed to the Lord himself. When he finished, Samuel arrived. Saul went out to meet him. The prophet said, "What have you done?" Oh, well, I came here to sacrifice, and you weren't here. The Philistines are here in force, and my men are deserting. I waited for you for 7 days, and when you didn't come, well, I went and got what I needed, and I gave a burnt sacrifice to the Lord. Oh, Samuel said, "You have acted like a fool. This was a test. If you had just trusted the Lord, He would have established your kingdom forever. But you failed the test. Therefore, God has already selected another man who will become king. And the Lord will establish His kingdom forever because He's a man after the Lord's own heart." With that, Samuel turned and left. Saul counted his men that he had left, and he only had 600 men. The Philistines came into the land, and they camped on top of some cliffs that overlooked a very important pass there in Israel. So Saul took his 600 men, and he camped on the cliffs on the opposite side of the same pass.